3 months. That's all it takes to see real changes and real growth. And in this video, I'm actually not going to talk a lot about musical ability, like perfect posture or mastering scales, but rather something that goes deeper and is a lot more meaningful. You've probably never heard of music education quite like this. The stories and the takeaway that I'm going to share in this video are going to surprise you. After 8 years of teaching and nearly a decade of working with hundreds of students in the Northern Virginia area, I've seen 4 powerful transformations in our students that happen early on within their lessons, no matter what the age is. Whether your child is just getting started, or maybe you're wondering what's really possible for me, this will give you a clear look at what private music education can do in just 3 short months. Let's dive in. From hesitant to confident. That moment when a child goes from, I can't do that, to, why can't I? Watch me. That is our goal. That's what we want to see with our students. And it's at the 3-month mark is where you start to notice a change in confidence. When I was teaching, I had this go-to pop song that I would teach all of my students within the first 3 months, no matter what level they were at. And I picked the song because I wanted a couple of things. I wanted it to be catchy. I wanted it to not be too familiar. And more importantly, I wanted it to sound really complex, but be pretty simple to learn and play. And so I would play the song for them and tell them, okay, this is our next song. This is what you're going to learn next. And they would look at me like wide-eyed and immediately be like, you're joking. Like, no, I can't learn that. That's way too hard. And I would tell them, no, really, this is going to be our next song. And don't worry, it's easy. I've taught 5-year-olds to play this. You can learn this too. And so we would get started, and week by week, we would start to have these small wins. And something special really happens when you start to collect, and now you have like this bucket of small wins. And what changes is that your perception of yourself and what you can do starts to change. And that's why it's so important for us at Piano and More, and we train all of our teachers to follow this teaching model, is to build the student strengths first. It's really important that we do build up your confidence level, because once a student is confident in their ability, they're a lot more inclined to tackle their weaknesses. And guess what? Within 4 weeks, I had my students playing this song. And they were playing it so well, and they were so proud of themselves for playing this song and learning it so fast that they would share it with others. Then they couldn't wait to go to school and show their friends at school. They would like literally sneak away to the music room during lunch so they could show off their new skills. And that is why it's so important to build confidence, because not only does the perception of yourself change, but there's new energy from passive to creative. Another area where we see a big change in our students within those first 3 months of private music lessons is creativity. This is where you go from being a consumer of content to now being a creator of content. And you're going to love the points in this section, so be sure to watch this part. So before their music lessons, your child is most likely consuming a lot of content. In fact, it seems to me that kids these days is their absolute worst nightmare to be bored. I mean, God forbid that you take their electronics from them, because that means they're going to be bored, and that is devastating. I don't know about you, but it does seem a little weird to me that kids don't know what to do with their free time. But now they have music lessons. And with music, they are opening a whole new dimension of the world that they have never experienced before. We do experience the world through our 5 senses, right? We have sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. And this is how we absorb new information and experience the life around us. By studying music, you're now going to enhance your senses, which then opens the door to experiencing the world on a more profound level. As your senses start leveling up, your experiences in this world are going to level up as well. And by experiencing the world in a new way, you're going to now see new opportunities pop up where you can tap into some of your creativity. So with our students, we introduce the rules of music, and then we show them how they can play around with them. Some examples are our students will start writing their own melodies, writing lyrics to songs, and improvising on their instrument. That creative spark is pretty intoxicating, and it will spill into other areas of your life, socially, at work, or in your homework assignments. And with AI becoming even more powerful like every couple of months, and anyone in the world has access to this as long as they have a phone, right? It's becoming more disruptive to the workplace. So, with all of this happening, could it be that being a creative person will make you all the more valuable? I mean, think about it. If everyone has the same education, has experience, the social skills, how are you going to stand out to your boss? How will you win contracts when your competition has access to the same resources? How will you claim your success? The outlier to me seems to really lie in your creativity. And if you're not convinced, I was listening to Evan Spiegel. He's the co-founder and the CEO of Snapchat. He was at one point the world's youngest billionaire. He created a brand new business in a space where there were monster companies backed by billions of dollars, and he still succeeded. He emphasizes the importance of creativity, so much so that it's one of his company's core values, and it influences their company culture. He believes that fostering a creative environment is crucial for innovation, and that is how they're going to be successful in the long term. Fun fact, Evan Spiegel said when building his first team for Snapchat, everyone was a musician. So best start exploring and developing the source of creativity, which, by the way, we all have. It's just a matter of how much we tap into it. And by the way, if this video has been really helpful and informative, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us find more families like you. From distracted to focused. You've probably already heard how playing an instrument like piano or guitar will help increase your ability to concentrate and focus. Thankfully, music education has been studied for a long time, and there's some pretty solid evidence out there that I'll share later to help support this. But before that, I want to share a story from our studio that we experienced. So actually, just last year, we implemented a new policy where 30-minute lessons were only going to be reserved for students that were between the ages of 5 and 8. And the reason why we did this is because as you grow, you start to develop your own identity. You start to want to have more conversations because you have opinions and you have interests. Or as you're leveling up as a student, maybe you do need more of these conversations to go deeper into music theory and explain why things are written in a certain way. So we had some parents reach out and explain that they were nervous about the policy change because their son or daughter had a learning disability, maybe something like ADHD or were neurodivergent, and they weren't sure that a longer lesson time would be beneficial for them. And so we understood where they were coming from. Obviously, we don't want to force anything on a student that isn't going to be helpful, right? So we said, you know what? We understand your concerns. Let's give it a 4-week trial period. Let's just see what happens. And at the end of the 4 weeks, we'll follow up with you again and we'll make a decision on whether it was better to stay at a 30-minute lesson versus a 45-minute lesson. And guess what happened? Every single family that tried this 4-week trial period ended up moving on with the longer lesson time. The teachers even came back to us and told us that the experience is way better now because they're no longer having to rush through lessons and they can actually get to know their students better. Turns out, most kids actually enjoy when somebody they like and look up to wants to spend more time with them. So what's the science? How does piano or playing an instrument actually make your focus better? What's going on in the brain that's making these changes happen? Research says that with repetition and emotional intensity, which basically means that you're emotionally invested and believing in your goals, your brain will start to modify its structure and build stronger neurological pathways so that you can become more efficient. This process is known as neuroplasticity. So when a student learns new information with their teacher during their weekly lesson, and then they reinforce that information by practicing throughout the week, that is actually creating stronger neurological pathways that will help them process and apply information in their life. I really believe that with people that are able to really hone in their concentration and have that ability to put their focus on something, you're going to be able to easily stand out in a world where everything is really fast paced and we're getting more and more addicted as a society to scrolling and social media, which unfortunately is downgrading our attention spans. From overwhelmed to regulated. Another area where we see a big change in our students within the first 3 months of their private music lessons is regulation. Because there's so many layers to music, and to give you an example, there's left hand coordination, right hand coordination, notation, reading rhythm, applying dynamics. I mean, the list continues, but we'll stop there for now. It can feel like a lot. And for a new beginner student, when they turn a page in their lesson book and they see all these music notes and maybe some symbols that they don't recognize, that can feel a bit overwhelming to them. Our job as teachers is to break things down into manageable phases where you can understand, and we'll wait to apply new information when you're ready. And by doing this, we're practicing how to create a plan. And we'll prove to you that with a good plan in place, and if you execute and practice that plan, that you will be able to do hard things and you can be successful. And when you've gone through this a couple of times, you're going to start to change your perception of your ability when it comes to hard things. You want to get better at algebra, you want to write your first 10-page paper, you want to communicate better with your partner, do you want to lead a company? With a good plan in place, you can successfully accomplish hard things. After all, climbing a mountain is just a continuation of one step at a time, where you just keep going. And it's the same with music, where you'll learn a new song by practicing one note at a time. And by doing this again and again, we are teaching our students how to manage any kind of fears or anxiety when they have to do something hard or something that looks really hard to them. So, now you know, 3 months of music can spark some pretty incredible changes. And if you liked this video, be sure to check out my next one where I will talk about what you can expect after 1 year of music lessons. And if you're in the Northern Virginia area and you're interested in enrolling into our music program, click on the link below to book your trial lesson 50% off and start the journey that goes far beyond music. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget, keep the music going.